Yeah.
I'm going to stick with the Chiefs.
Once we get into these player props, when I was looking at these advanced statistics and how they match up, it was really having me consider the 49ers.
Yeah.
It definitely. We've talked about the spread. We talked about the over/under. We talked about what value we like for
MVP,
for Super Bowl MVP. Now it's time to get into individual player props, over/unders, things of that nature. What stands out to you? What do you like?
So for me, I had mentioned this a little earlier about Damian Williams and how he has taken over he's healthy now. He's taken over the Chiefs' backfield. LaShawn McCoy is an afterthought. Darrell Williams is an afterthought. So as evidenced by his 90.9% snap rate, getting 29 of the backfield's 30 carries, 12 of its 14 targets in his 10 games with the Chiefs, he has a snap rate of at least 60%. In those games, let me rephrase. In the 10 Chiefs games where he has a snap rate of at least 60%, Damian Williams' median yardage is 63 total yards.
I love that they've turned to him, rather, because LaShawn McCoy, he's good and all. He's older now, but he's a great playmaker. But I would not feel comfortable if I was rooting for the Chiefs and I saw LaShawn McCoy dancing around in the backfield with the ball completely out of his reach, carrying it like a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that they've turned to Damian Williams recently. It's been a pleasure to watch, and he's been pretty good. He was awesome last week.
So I like the over on that. I think most of the overs on him are around 52, 53. Mm-hmm. I like the over on that. I would bet the over on that up to about 56 and a half yards. He has completely taken over this backfield. And again, if you want to see a team like the Chiefs, or you believe that they're going to win, they're going to have to run the ball a little bit, as they've done against the Titans, to lighten the load up and get that 49ers defense of Nick Bosa, D4, Bucks. You say these names, you're just like, holy crap. They got to lighten the load on them. They got to get them off balance. They got to run the ball. And Damian Williams is their guy. He's getting all the snaps. 53 yards, not a lot at all. They're not asking him to get not Mostert's total, which is 85. It's a relatively low total, 53 and a half, 52. So I like the over on that one.
So the first prop that I like is the Travis Kelce over/under. And that's set at 75 and a half right now, which seems kind of low for Travis Kelce. But you got to consider he's banged up. The San Francisco 49ers defense has been sensational, especially against tight ends. They've allowed one 100-yard game to a tight end this year, and only two 50-yard games to tight ends this year, which is unbelievable. So tight ends against the San Francisco 49ers are averaging 4 catches for 38 yards this year.
So I was curious to see where you were going with this, because I was – okay.
So, there's a couple things that Travis Kelce over would have going for it, but it's not. I don't know how relevant the information is. Such as last time, Andy Reid was in the Super Bowl with the Eagles. He had L.J. Smith had 8 targets that game, but he's nowhere near the tight end that Travis Kelce was. So when you consider that a player like him, of his caliber, would have 8 targets in a big game like that with Andy Reid, that's a little nugget there, but I don't have too much value into that. I don't see that as being significant because it's something that was so long ago. It was another team, different tight end. And then there's last year, Travis Kelce had 114 yards against the San Francisco 49ers.
Completely different defense, different team.
We know that. So that has almost...
So you're going 0. With the under here at 75?
I'm smashing the under for Travis Kelce, under 75 and a half.
I like that one too.
Another one I like is DeMarcus Robinson, under 20 and a half yards.
Okay.
And that's at minus 105 right now, which is great value.
That is good value. A lot of these props you see, they're juiced up to minus 120.
Well, Travis Kelce one was minus 115. I forgot to mention that. But DeMarcus Robinson, under 20 and a half yards, minus 105. The thing that people don't realize is DeMarcus Robinson did his damage during the year when Tyreek Hill was hurt.
That's true.
With Tyreek Hill active, he failed to reach 14 yards in 9 of 14 games.
14 yards?
And then you throw in the fact that the 49ers are allowing wide receiver props to hit over only 32% of the time. Everything there is telling me to fade Marcus Robinson.
So 23.5, I love the under there.
Interesting. So, sticking with receiving options, I think what we're getting value on is the 49ers and their receivers. So, we just saw a game where Jimmy Garoppolo completed, 8 passes? 8 passes,
Right.
I believe, to beat
yeah.
Green Bay.
I think they threw it 8 times.
He completed 6 of 8 for 77 yards.
Threw it 8 times.
So they only threw the ball 8 times, and they didn't need to throw the ball more. Why would you throw the ball when you're dominating on the ground? So I think that's presented us with an opportunity for some value with the San Francisco 49ers receivers, specifically Emmanuel Sanders. His over-under right now is, I think it's around, where was it? 45. That is in a game where you're going up against the Chiefs. That is their that's their receiver. They traded for it mid-year, and you're going to have probably the 49ers lead defenders in the secondary on Kittle,
exactly.
probably Deebo Samuel, very explosive players where they're probably going to look at Emmanuel Sanders' last game and say he was only targeted once, didn't even have a catch.
And he has a lot of games like that this year where he's hit or miss.
So you got a guy like that. He was overall wide receiver 1, week 14, with 7 catches, 157 yards, and a receiving touchdown. And that was in a really big game for them. In week 2 against Chicago, against standout cornerback Kyle Fuller, Sanders totaled a season-high 11 receptions for 98 receiving yards and a touchdown. So Emmanuel Sanders is a guy where in a big game, in a game like the Super Bowl with a great defense you're playing up against, a lot of the focus is going to be on stopping that run game, big yards after catch guys like Kittle and Samuel. 45 yards for a guy like Emmanuel Sanders, who has proven it time and time and time, even in the Super Bowl. He has proven it. I think you're getting great value there. People are looking a little bit too much at last game, and I don't blame them. What else they have to go off of? With Jimmy G completed 6 passes. So I really like Emmanuel Sanders over 45 yards. That is one I'm very confident in. I think there's being tremendously undervalued.
Interestingly enough that you brought up the San Francisco wide receivers being undervalued, I have a play that I like a little bit more than yours. I see a little bit more value on it, and that's Kendrick Bourne. He stepped into that slot role. He's taken over. Dante Pettis is gone. He's played 59% of his snaps from the slot since week 14, and it just so happens that the Chiefs this year have really struggled defending that position, the slot wide receiver. Kendall Fuller, he played most of the year up until Juan Thornhill got hurt. He played in the slot where he allowed 138.7 passer rating in slot coverage. So now Juan Thornhill gets hurt, and you're forced to move a rookie into that slot role. He's inexperienced, and Kendall Fuller starts playing more safety. Rashad Fenton has moved into the slot role, and he hasn't been bad, but I don't trust him in that position, and I don't trust the Chiefs to be able to turn around their tendencies in the slot position. So I'm banking on Kendrick Bourne over 22.5.
That's a good number. 22.
And if you track back to when he started being used more, ever since week 9, I believe he has 6 touchdowns, which is incredible.
So they trust them. They look his way.
He might even be a good option for Super Bowl MVP. Like a long shot. It's a long shot, but his value is probably I think it's 200 to 1. So it's even greater than D Ford.
Insane odds.
So
and in a game with a high over under at 54.5, and it keeps trending up that way. What's 22 and a half yards? So I like that bet now that you gave me all those statistics. Interesting. So those two with Damian Williams and Emmanuel Sanders are two that I really like. Another one that I like, touching on the George Kittle and Travis Kelce comparison, or what you're talking about with Travis Kelce, there's some books that offer head-to-head matchups between Travis Kelce and George Kittle.
saw
And
that.
if you can do that, I really like George Kittle head-to-head against Travis Kelce.
Because of what I said before.
I don't think Travis Kelce matches up well. The San Francisco 49ers match up very well with tight ends and limiting what they can do. And you have a guy like George Kittle against the Kansas City Chiefs defense, and I don't have what their ranks are against tight ends. But I do really like George Kittle to go over the yardage in a head-to-head matchup with Travis Kelce. I do think that the advantages the Chiefs have are on the outside and with their speed, not necessarily inside with Travis Kelce. So I do like George Kittle in a head-to-head matchup. I think even on our book we can get it at pretty good odds. I think I saw it at, let me see.
Do you have
can
anything
do
else?
Kittle. Those are the two that I really like. Again, with the MVPs, I do really like that angle on getting some value with the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. So I know that's not necessarily a player prop. I mean, it is. But those two I feel the most confident in. I think a lot of the other ones are in a good range. I don't think.
Here's an interesting one that almost sounds too good to be true. I saw it. It's only on BetMGM, I think, is this number, but it's Raheem Mostert over 60.5 yards. It's at minus 150, which obviously is not even, but that's still incredible considering that on a lot of other books it's around 80 or so.
Wow, yeah, then that's
And
a huge discrepancy.
he's coming off a career high in carries, 29 carries, rushing for over 200 yards. Tevin Coleman just got hurt pretty bad. It looked bad, at least. I don't know what the extent of the injury is. And he has double-digit carries, I think, in his last 7 games, maybe?
Wow.
Last 6 or 7 games. So that's a great value right there, but it's not available on every book.
If you can get that, that's a huge discrepancy. I'm not sure how they're doing that.
Yeah.
Take advantage of that. And on the George Kittle to Travis Kelce, if you're betting that George Kittle will have more receiving yards than Travis Kelce, there's no limit. He has to reach 70 yards. Just that George Kittle will exceed Travis Kelce in their yardage. You're getting plus 106. I think that is a phenomenal bet. I don't like Travis Kelce to have more receiving yards than George Kittle, especially when George Kittle is a much bigger, is a more explosive player and can make way more happen after the catch. So if you can do that, that's one I personally will be making. I do like George Kittle to have more receiving yards than Travis Kelce, and I think it's very favorable.
You got anything else for Super Bowl? Nothing?
Super Bowl? No,
That's it. We're done. All right, so that sums up our betting guide for the biggest
Biggest game of the year.
biggest game of the year, Super Bowl 54, the 100th NFL season. Hopefully, it comes down to the wire, has a great finish. But yeah, guys, like this video if you think that the Monday after Super Bowl should be a national holiday, because I think it should. I should be able to sleep in and enjoy.
After stressing out over all the units we're putting on the line the night
Exactly.
before.
And just be able to enjoy the game and not have to worry about going to sleep early for work tomorrow. Make it a national holiday. I'll start a petition.
All right, we'll put a change.org link
Change.org. Let's
in our description. But let us know who you guys have winning. Let us know some of your favorite prop bets or bets that, hey, what Gatorade color are you putting some money on? You think Demi Lovato is going to go over on the national anthem? I think
Is that
so.
who's singing it?
I think Demi Lovato is singing the national anthem.
Okay.
So let us know what betting angles, what something else maybe you guys have,
Something we missed.
something we missed.
Potentially.
And I think we're in for a damn good treat with the 49ers and Chiefs. 100th
Yes,
year.
sir.
We could not be asking for a better Super Bowl matchup. Enjoy, bet responsibly.
We got the 2 best teams.
We have the 2 best teams going at it. I think the NFC and AFC are represented perfectly. I think most people, besides 49ers and Chiefs fans, would be happy with the best team winning,
Yeah.
There's no evil Patriots or whoever to root against. I think both teams are very likable. They have great stories. Overall, it's going to be a great game. Good luck. Let's make some money.
Let's do it.
See you guys.
See ya.